Hey guys, what's going on? ZeroArmada here, Road to God Mode episode 7. Kind of been a while since my last Road to God Mode episode, so kind of quickly to recap. Level 16, purchased the med kit. It's like about 1k GP left in my inventory. So kind of what I've been preaching, for your first purchase, you don't want to really spend your GP unless it's a permanent purchase to kind of, save your GP and not really waste it on temporary purchases. Also, for weapon parts, armor parts, I think that's really best spent on higher level weapons and higher level parts and armor parts around level 25 to 30 and beyond. So ultimately, I think tactical gear is a safe choice. Go with the med kit. You can give yourself some emergency health when you really need it. And ultimately, I think that's kind of a wise decision. Or you can ultimately just keep saving your GP. I think the default gear, the default weapon is still viable for a long time, up to level 20 to 25. So I think that's still a good choice to just save your money and kind of see what other people are using, what's more effective for them. So for this episode, I'm going to be talking about counters. And what I mean by that is like stuff like the SMG, bolt action rifle, tomahawk, stun shuriken, kind of the weapons that most people have trouble with. What's the best thought process? What's the best way of going about kind of countering them and putting yourself in the best position to kind of take charge and take over the enemy player and put yourself in the best position to win ultimately. So kind of quickly, I'm going to talk about the basic AR automatic type tier weapons, the AR, AK-470, HAR. For those weapons, kind of really they're well versed in every aspect of the game, close quarters, medium range, long range. So really what you want to do is you want to force them to kind of use their bullets. Why? Because after a while when they shoot, if they're not tap firing, the recoil is going to really cause an issue for them. So after a while, it's just going to be really uncontrollable and unfeasible for them to really get after you and hit you consistently. So that forces them to go from full automatic to tap fire, or it puts them in an uncomfortable position. And that's when you strike, whether it's close quarters or long range. You got to attack them, make them miss the first few shots, then you can attack them because they're going to less likely be able to shoot you after the first few bullets because they're going to be having some trouble controlling the recoil. For the automatic close quarter type weapons like the SMG, M4XT SMG, best thing to do is learn their effective ranges. Those weapons are deadly close quarters, but after a certain range, the damage drop off is really evident and they won't be able to really kill you as fast as they can close quarters. So find an effective range, kind of use that as like a line on the map, and then stay away from that line closer. If you're that line and farther away, you can pick them off with a long-range weapon or an assault rifle or a grenade, something like that. If you're ever forced into a position where you're in close quarters combat with a close quarters type weapon, best thing to do is just kill them fast. Whether it's a headshot or a shotgun, something like that, a reliable secondary usually will do the job if you can get a good shot on them. That's ultimately the best thing to do. You just got to kill them fast before their damage over time really kicks in, or their DPS really kicks in. For weapons like the bar and the CR, really, there's not really much you can do. You just got to get close to them. Get close and personal. A lot of the long-range players don't really like it when you're in their face. They're really out of their comfort zone. So best thing to do is just kind of creep up on them, whether it's a blackout or kind of throw some nades their way, get them distracted and kind of slowly creep in. That's ultimately the best thing you want to do. You really never want to get into a fight where the bar or the CR user has the upper hand. Because if you have an assault rifle, if you have an SMG or something like that, you're screwed. Regardless, if they're a good shot, they'll take you down quick. So for now, like the gear type weapons or the gear type items, grenades, in general, toxic, HE, all that stuff. Really, there's not much they can do if the player is well versed. If they're cooking their nades correctly, it's going to hit you on impact. And that's going to hurt regardless. It's going to deal damage, you're going to die if it's an HE grenade or regardless of whatever the circumstance is. So ultimately, you just got to be wary of, players that like to utilize grenades a lot. And also, you just got to stay clear of people who have nades out. And that's pretty much really the only thing I can really tell you about that. Protection gear is also a good thing to have. Explosive protection gear will protect you against HE regular grenades as well as tomahawks. For stuff like stun mines, stun shurikens, those can be really annoying with the stun duration. Get the electro protection gear. That will reduce stun duration by 50%, half the time. So those are really helpful. Stun shurikens, they also disappear after 15 seconds when they're thrown. So after 15 seconds, if you're patient, they'll just disappear on their own. Stun mines and regular proximity mines, you can just shoot them and they'll explode. That's also another option you can go about, but just don't walk into them. You can see them on HRV if you're close enough, so kind of just be wary of the ground at all times. Ultimately, you want to have your line of sight up so you can kind of take down people quickly, or you can kind of see where people are at. But you want to make sure you have some kind of a peripheral vision or some eye stuck on the ground so you can see any incoming landmines or any blackout mines, kind of indicating that there might be an enemy player near you or in that blackout field. Finally, kind of quickly just talk about melee weapons in general. You have melee protection gear, which also helps out, but for stuff like the katana, the breach hammer, the machete, ultimately it's kind of similar to the whole SMG aspect of it. You want to stay far from them. If you see someone with a melee weapon and they're coming straight towards you, back up, kind of make yourself make some unorthodox or unpredictable movement. That way they'll be kind of confused and second guessing exactly what you're doing, and they're going to have a little bit harder time trying to go straight at you. Especially with the katana. Katana, you have to be in a straight line to kind of strike someone with their secondary attack. So if you're kind of moving zigzagging, or if you're like just really confusing to the enemy player in terms of what you're moving towards, that's going to be a real big hassle to them. But ultimately, just stay clear of them, keep your distance, and kind of pick them off from afar. That's really all you can do. If they're close and they know what they're doing, they're going to kill you regardless. So that's kind of a general overview of some of the counters I think are some of the most typical problems that a lot of people face. Kind of Tomahawk's another one that a lot of people have trouble with. Explosive protection gear, like I said, would really help out there. But a lot of that stuff, you just got to keep your distance, like I said. If you see someone with a Tomahawk, just stay back. It takes a while to kind of get to its target if it's far away. So that gives you a good chance to dodge that. If you see a Tomahawk on the ground, chances are someone's far away waiting for you to get near it, and then they're going to detonate it. So definitely shoot that, let that explode before you get near that thing. And then ultimately another good tip would be just to press Q. When you press Q, when you die, you get to see an enemy's total gear, and that can help out a lot. You can kind of see exactly what weapons they're using, what gear types they're running, and that will give you a mental picture or a mental image of exactly what to do before you actually, see that person again, because you see exactly what they have equipped. So that's pretty much it for this commentary. Hope that helped out. If you have any questions or comments, as always, just leave them down below. And thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it.